Hello. I think I'm live. I had a blooper just in case. I was not live immediately when it said you are live. We'll do this intro maybe in just good time. So, if you don't know, my name is Emily. I am from Canada. I live here in France and I live with chronic illness. I am also a yoga teacher and an integrative wellness coach. So, what are we going to talk about today? The first thing I want to say is that, how do I want to word this? I don't want to say I'm sorry, because I'm not. But it won't be totally unreasonable to give an explanation, which is why I didn't do the Wednesday journal, like the wellness journal on Wednesday. If you watch the wellness journals, I'm so happy that you do that. And sometimes they're not going to happen. And I'm not sorry about it. Because the thing is things change. And one thing that is helpful to dealing with chronic illness and living in a foreign country is the ability to adapt to change and disappointment. So I haven't really prepared anything today, but I thought I did feel as though we should catch up in less of a workshop format and more of just like a where are we at so far kind of a situation. Like almost like a little bit when you're at the crossroads or when you feel like you've met a ridge and you sort of are like deciding with your gang as to whether or not to go towards the next ridge and which ridge should that be. Or if you should just go back altogether home, right? So, what am I talking about? So, basically, I sort of refer to wellness as a journey. And when you're living with chronic illness, it kind of is illness the journey that you're on? Or is wellness the journey that you're on? And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, if you had asked me on Sunday when I was going through a flare, I would have said I was on like a full-on illness journey, right? Like, where is this flare going to take me next? And it really was the driver of that day. But most of the time, and the driver that I want to have, and I do try to pass the keys over to most often, is the wellness driver, right? Like, I really want to wake up in the morning and to be driven by the idea of feeling well. And that's just not how it goes every day. And how can we shift that? It's like a dial, right? We're dialing up the wellness in order to dial down the illness. It's not like it's all in our control, because otherwise, if it was, I'd just like flick the switch, right? And be done with it. The thing is, it's the whole life thing, guys, is a journey. And if your life thing journey includes illness, especially at a young age, then you gotta kind of get on board with the lifestyle of self-care and and focus on what is most important. And you know, I'm having a bit of a funny day. Yesterday was also a bit funny. I've been like I was feeling funny. So recently I have been doing this to-do list style that I call intentional time. And it's sort of like waking up in the morning, you have a goal in mind, you have maybe a number of goals in mind, things that are on your to-do list. And I've been writing them down and sticking pretty well to them. And it's great because my to-do lists this is a plant, by the way. Not my like tail or ear. I don't know which way to go. That way. That's the brain, right? That's the coordination there that maybe isn't always on the mark, right? Okay. Let me take some water. You can too. Okay. Sometimes in these chats, I feel very passionate. Feeling super passionate makes me feel almost stressed out. Kind of like in a good stress, but I don't want to take it too far in these wellness chats. So I have to be really mindful of that. And that has me feeling like I'm speaking slowly. And then I get a little bit self-conscious about it. And then I don't feel so authentic. And anyways, side note over. Okay, maybe you understand. One of my cats has come to join me. So we'll see if that becomes a distraction as well as my side note thoughts. Okay, where are we at? So, okay, I've been doing my intentional timesheet lists, which I prefer to call it an intentional timesheet. I don't know why I prefer the word sheet to, which just reminds me of the word shit. Okay, no, Emily, we're being pretty serious right now, okay? So, I like the name intentional timesheet. Because a timesheet almost feels like I showed up for a particular role. And when I put that role in focus, I'm able to concentrate on the goal of the person in that role. So that is how I'm trying to motivate myself to use my time well and intentionally. It is not just a list of random stuff that I have to do. It's sort of like a subtle embodiment. And in the 8 hours that we are sort of expected to work, like on a to-do list, we kind of are only focused on that to-do list. And if we don't get to everything on that to-do list, then, you know what that feels like, right? And it feels like you haven't kept up. But kept up with what? Like with who? Whose to-do list is this? So when I think about breaking the list into really being present for that moment, I'm able to just consider that moment. And so if the task takes longer than what I anticipated, then the task takes longer. Or if the task can't get done, then the task can't get done. It's not, yes, you have daily things that need to be done, but, and some will just absolutely have to be done. That is true. But there's a lot of things on our list that can wait. So let it wait. It's not a part of your value. It doesn't determine your worth. If something has to be pushed back to another time. And on that note, we don't have to put so much on our list, and we think possibly, well, there isn't even that much on my list, and I think that I should be doing more, and why can I not do more? Well, you could observe how you're using your time and see really the reality of that. So let me tell you a little bit about what I mean. So the intentional time sheet that I have sort of gets filled up in real time. So, and on a day like yesterday and today, it sort of just doesn't get filled in at all, or maybe it really only gets a couple of things, and then I let myself steer away from it and kind of just go about my day without worrying about using my time intentionally. And then I acknowledge that. And then I acknowledge, okay, I'm sort of just going with that flow today. Because, and this is one thing that I was thinking about that I did want to mention, is that we're not machines, guys, especially if we're living with chronic illness. I mean, you're not a machine anyways, even if you don't have chronic illness, sorry. So you can't operate like a machine, right? You're not on some kind of a timer that a machine operates on. You need maintenance, you need rest and a day off, you need time to reflect, time to observe. So that's why I write my intentional timesheet more or less as I'm doing it, or not writing it as I'm not doing it. Today started out kind of like yesterday. I started out pretty good. I sat down for my meditation, which, thanks, by the way, just doing so. I know that, like, I'd love to take more of a break from social media, but also the idea of offering out these actions, this visualization of what it takes to be well is something that I would like for you to pick up on, right? Like you might not meditate, you might sit and pray or manifest or journal or read, but if you can take 15 minutes doing that per day, every day, then that might be the start of something new. So whatever floats your boat. And every morning from Monday to Friday, I've been meditating for 15 minutes. And actually on Saturdays as well, but it's less in a live format. And on Sundays, I don't. And I've been starting to actually think that 15 minutes doesn't feel like long enough anymore. Anyways, I've been doing that for a while, and I did do that this morning, and I did do that yesterday, and I do that live. And I feel as though going live is somehow functions as a little bit of an accountability tool for me. But also possibly as a gentle accountability tool for you. The people that I'm trying to connect with, that I'm trying to support through their wellness journey. So feel free to use that 15-minute timer, if you will, in any way that you see fit, right? That is the time to refill your cup. And meditating might be one of those things that you do during those 15 minutes of refilling your cup. Okay, I digress. Then I went and I cooked myself a pretty decent breakfast. So like we're transitioning into a new season here, and so I need to transition into different seasonal food and more warm food, and sort of like I'm going for half cooked, half raw at the moment. So I cooked myself a good breakfast, which, if you're wondering, was a cucumber, tomato, avocado salad, also shredded sweet potato with 2 eggs scrambled, and a little bit of, I like the oat milk, so a little bit of oat milk. Oh, and we had a tiny bit of leftover rice, so I also put that in with the egg, the sweet potato, and a little bit of oat milk. So I had that for breakfast, which is pretty much a go-to for me. I probably have that like once a week. I usually get one sweet potato and I like cook it over like 1 or 2 days, depending on how big it is. Sometimes they're pretty big. So, but in that same note, and I might as well, I feel like I have so much to tell you guys. So on that same note, when I cook breakfast, I really like to cook lunch too. If you're at home all day because that's where you care for yourself, like in the sense of like that you're not working and you're like a stay at home person dealing with chronic illness, then and you don't have a lot of energy to cook once. Like get that meal prep out. I'm not talking for the week or anything like that. It doesn't have to get crazy. But you can definitely cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner kind of more or less all at once. At the very least, the heavy lifting of it, right? Like getting out the cutting board, I just put the crisper right on the countertop, like the veggie crisper. And I just look through what I have. And then I sort of take a minute to think about it and to just sort of like decide what I want to eat for lunch and what I want to eat for dinner. And then if it's not all the same thing, which sometimes it is, then I might just do the prep for the different meal that I'm going to have later on. So in the morning when I shred my sweet potato for my breakfast, I might also peel it and then chop it into cubes for making a soup later, so that I don't have to get out the cutting board again and get out the knife and get out the peeler and do all that over again, right? So in any case, I like batch cooking. That's kind of fun. And also on that note, is from day to day. And if you're dealing with nausea, you might not know what you want to eat. Also, leftovers might be like an ick kind of a thing. So that's why I also like only cooking just for like kind of 1 day at a time, possibly 2-ish. Like there'll be like a leftover lunch for the next day from my partner, that kind of a thing. Oh, but also is like that some foods don't do very well being stored for multiple days. There's the obvious ones that we know, things like rice or pasta or vegetables that might get mushy or that don't freeze well, things like that. So if you were to just focus on 2 meals or 1 day's worth of meals, that could be kind of helpful. Yeah. That probably took me like 2 years to learn because when I first got into meal planning and meal prepping for myself and for my condition, I was not focused and I didn't know how to approach it. And I just thought I had to I'll show you my meal plan now. And it still could be like taken down a notch even so, but I have like 2 sample weeks with just one meal each day. And then I have 2 breakfast ideas up here. I used to have like 4 weeks and 3 different meals per day, and that just went, and I just couldn't keep up, right? We don't do that in real life anyways, right? And then on this side, I have my shopping list, which accommodates this. So it's so easy. But this took a long time to get to. And this is such a cool tool, and I don't really use it that much anymore. I kind of more or less have it memorized, but on those days when I'm having a bit of a glitch, that was a machine talk. I'm not a machine. When I'm having just one of those human days, this is cool because then I can just be like, oh yeah, sweet, poke bowl. I can do that. And then I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have the stuff for a poke bowl. Okay, I'll just make what I've got, poke bowl version of that. Because things, if you have food intolerances or different things like that, or you're dealing with an elimination diet or whatever, then you might not be able to follow every single recipe to a T. And anyways, who cares? Like, just do it the way that you want to and experiment with it and get good at being you and feeding you. Like, you need to feed you. You don't need to feed the person that wrote a blog about how to make the best casserole. Like, I don't know. Everyone is calling me today during this video. I love it. But I'll have to call you back. Because I have tons more to say, and I'll try to, you can pause this and come back to it if you want. So, don't worry about that. Okay, where were we? So then I taught a yoga class after making a delish breakfast. And I felt really good during my yoga class. My student has a bit of a cold coming on. Yes, hi, I love you too. So my student has a bit of a cold coming on, and I felt like, awesome. Thank you for sharing that with me. Like, I really want to know where my students are at from day to day, right? Because I'm teaching them so that they'll feel better. My student clearly needed to have some compassion, to have some space held for them in this vulnerable state. Now, I'm just a positive person, and I want to be all about that all the time, but sometimes people just need you to be there for them. And that's what my student needed this morning. And she was, comfortable enough to tell that to me, that she was having getting a cold, and I took that as my cue to hold space for her and create an accessible class that didn't wear her down more. Because our physical, fitness should not wear us down more. If you're living with a chronic illness or you're getting out of a hard time, your fitness should be loving and caring and energetic at times, and even motivating and challenging and powerful, but it shouldn't feel like another thing on your to-do list. And it shouldn't go at the pace and at the level of someone that you are not in that day. So the person that you were yesterday is not the person that you are today, and therefore there may not be the same yoga sequence or the same physical fitness practice. So, yeah, that's the kind of yoga I be teaching over here. It is accessible. It is you do you. And I hope that you all feel safe in whatever environment that you're in terms of physical fitness, that you get to be you. You get to challenge yourself to the level that you want to and that feels safe to you. And you also get to take the rest and feed your muscles and your circulation and your joints and your mind body connection in a way that is healthy, not in a way that feels aggressive and mandatory. So, I'll try and stay on track to whatever this track is. Who knows? So, I taught this student, and I am so glad that we did the class that she wanted to do rather than the class that I wanted to do, because, you know, and what's funny is secretly I am doing the class that I need, even when I'm focused and paying attention on your needs. I might not be going as deep into the posture as it appears, and I might not be holding them as long as you are, etc. I'll keep that short. It's just know that while I'm teaching yoga 6 days a week, it's really important for me to take care of myself, because I wouldn't be able to sustain this level of teaching year after year after year if I didn't. And you wouldn't be able to do that either in your job and in your life. So if you need to take a step back sometimes from your to-do lists or from intentionally using every minute of every day, you get to do that. And so do I. So with that in mind, we're back where we started, which was yesterday I didn't feel like doing my intentional timesheet, and I didn't really feel like using my time intentionally. I just kind of felt like mellowing out. So today, after I taught yoga, I kind of felt the same way. I kind of was like, do I carry on with the amount of effort that I put in those days when I was really using my time intentionally? And so I'll have you know that I did write down my list. And I do have every intention of doing everything on this list. But for whatever reason, sorry, I wanted to look at my agenda to make sure I wasn't missing anything. But for whatever reason, I just felt like I needed a break. I needed to just take a bit of a breath. Not for work, not for wellness, but just for myself. I just needed to take a step back from the doing of all of the things, and I just needed to take a breath. So I acknowledged that that's what I needed, and I let myself have that. And I sort of noticed myself wanting more of that. And yeah, that's cool. But that's a slippery slope too, guys. We need breaks and we need to take a step back every now and then. And we can take even long periods of time to regroup and sort of get a handle on what's going on. But that too needs to be intentional, somewhat. So I knew that at some point I needed to have this talk with myself. And to sort of have a check-in and say, Emily, what do you really want for your business, for your life, for your wellness, for your relationships, for your downtime? What do you really want? And what I really want is to feel good. Don't we all just want to feel good? And the thing is about feeling good, and possibly you'll learn this as you get older, I know I am, is that feeling good isn't something that just happens. It is something that you have to be a little bit intentional about. And so it doesn't mean you have to write it down, but if it helps, you could write it down. And if that becomes something that helps you to do it, then I suggest writing it down. And if writing it down feels difficult, then maybe what you do is just practice writing it down. Or if you don't feel the need to write it down, but you practice something else, then practice that something else that helps you to get to feeling good. There's this one coach, I don't know her name, maybe you could comment if you know her name, but she does a countdown. And I did do that for a little while on and off, and I actually really like that as an exercise of self-discipline in terms of taking care of yourself, you know? And so what she suggests is you get the inkling that you've been not doing what you think you should be doing, and you just, in that moment, you just begin your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at that moment, you get up and you just begin to do the thing that you think you need to do for yourself to feel good. So, on that note, do what makes you feel good. Take care of yourself. And really lean in to the possibility of being able to feel good. When you're living with chronic illness, you've been told you're not going to get better. That makes me want to cry. Excuse me, I'm going to cry. Because when a chronically ill person is attempting to get diagnosed or to figure out what in the world is going on with their body, they may be at their worst. This likely is a version of their worst. And when the doctors come to them and now I get it, like they really think that it can't get better and that they'll be ill for life and that that's the best way to put it and that that's what we're dealing with. I don't know how to tell you in a way that doesn't sound out of touch, is that it does get better and it can get better, but that you have to make it get better via the use of your time and energy. And if you don't think that a good use of your time and energy is going to make you feel better, and you think there is no hope for you, you are wrong. And you need to get your head on. Even if we live in an ill state for life, we can get a handle on how that makes us feel and how we contribute to the driving force of wellness in our lives. Yeah. Woo! I'm telling you, it's possible. And it might not always feel like it, guys. I really understand that. But it is. It is possible. It's sort of holding a little bit of grace and space. Accepting what is until the day we say goodbye. I will not fight what I am feeling. So, if I'm not feeling well, I may need to take a break. I may need to take a step back from my to-do list. Because I'm not a machine. And neither are you. So if you're not a machine, then stop acting like one. You know, shut her down for a moment. Okay. I almost feel like I need to start wrapping this up and do like a part 2 to where we are at in the journey. So yeah, so let's start. Let's wrap it up just a little bit. I kind of feel like my head is tilted, like maybe it's my bum or something. I don't. Okay, you see the tilt that I do? Kind of. I don't know if that's a shoulder thing or what. Anyways, so okay, where are we at in the head tilt? Yeah, that's where we're at. Aw. One of my cats is sitting with me, and the other one is sitting on the ground, longing at me, wanting to sit with us. Well, just come on, girlfriend. Don't worry about it. But you know, the two cats are all cat-like and need their space, but yet they want to be close to me. And anyways, okay. So where are we at in the journey? Um, in my personal journey so far, we are still, and I say we like as in those different people that I am, you know? And yeah, I really feel like I have got some different things going on, right? Like your hand in different pies. Um, yeah, so where are all my pies? What are my pies? What the hell's going on over here in Pie Town? Well, still a yoga teacher, loving that. Um, Sometimes like I wish that I could be in more of a depth of some kind in my yoga practice. I don't know, like if I spoke Sanskrit or something like that, or could say any number of insightful yoga quotes, but I can't. I am on my own journey to yoga, and it is, believe it or not, not as not as not as fancy as it looks, you know? Like the yoga journey is kind of multi-layered and has us being very introspective of what's going on for us, and that might not translate very well. So, yep, still teaching yoga, still loving it. I do teach mostly online, and I really like that a lot. I actually feel like that while it might not appear at first glance to be the optimal way, I really think that it is a really solid way for people that can't get out to a yoga studio. As and for that matter, anyone that's living with a chronic illness, chronic depression, chronic anxiety, maybe they can't afford it or don't live near a studio. Maybe they don't speak the language very well, and so maybe just doing it at home online is like their best bet. So, and also, like, if you can't afford yoga in a studio, there is just tons of free yoga online. Like, I have my own YouTube channel, and I'm not the only one, and I know you know it. So, and it doesn't even have to be yoga, there's tons of resources online to be doing whatever it is that you want to be doing that makes you feel better. So, anyways, I'm still a yoga teacher. That still makes me feel good to be a yoga teacher. And if you are thinking of trying yoga and you need some support in doing so, particularly if you want accessible yoga or if you're living with a chronic illness, reach out. Feel free. You might end up being one of my students, or you might end up just being a student of yoga. And that is my hope for you in some way, shape, or form, is that you get the feelings that I get from yoga. And if it's not from yoga, then you end up getting someone else to teach you something that makes you feel good in your body and mind and soul. Okay. On that note, I'm still training to become a wellness coach. And I really only have a couple, like a handful of months left. Less than a handful. At the halfway mark, you do actually become certified. So I am technically at this stage a certified wellness coach of integrative health. And I'm finding my feet in that. What's my niche? What's my marketing approach? How am I going to connect with y'all? So far, it's kind of just this, which will get better and better as we get there. Don't want to rush the process. So, with that in mind, that's what I'm doing. I'm being good to myself. I'm letting myself take the time that it takes to become a wellness coach. And they say in my course, your first client is you. And I just got out of class before making this video. And the video, because it's like an online course, the video is self-care for coaches. And I thought, yes, this is my jam. And of course, like for most coaches, it will be their jam because they're coaches, right? They want people to take care of themselves. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing, is like, how can you best show up for yourself on your journey that you hope to be on? So you're like positioning yourself to walk in that direction towards the person that you want to be. And if you position yourself off that track, you have to get back. And it's so hard to do sometimes. So just like sometimes a wellness coach or a lifestyle coach or a coach in general can help you to get onto the track that is right for you. Whatever that track is, a coach helps you to get there. And I think that I'm pretty sure I would like to niche myself in the direction of chronic illness because I live with chronic illness. And so it's pretty close to home. And I also am a yoga teacher. So I also want to come at it from that angle. And I have many sort of wellness modalities, and they come along with many traditions and like, I don't know how to say this, but like, they're expansive, they're legitimate. It's not like I'm over here making shit up, guys. What I'm telling you, this whole of what I'm telling you today and in any video, you need to like take it seriously. I'm not trying to mess with you. I know I'm just like regular Emily, but when I'm talking to you about your wellness, I empower Emily. I'm telling you guys, wellness, self-care, self-compassion, and focus and determination on your goals and your best version of yourself is it. It will make you feel so much better about where you're at on your journey, even if you're living with a chronic illness. It's at no point in your journey is it going to feel perfect. But that doesn't mean that there aren't ways to make it better. You know, it's like, let's imagine that I magically somehow put my illnesses into remission. It doesn't mean I get to like go back to living an unwell lifestyle. This is being well, particularly if you're living with a chronic illness or if you feel as though you might be going in that direction, you got to get it together. And that's what a wellness coach could help you with, right? Like, I hate to sound like I'm trying to sell you something, because I'm actually not. I'm just telling you that like being well when you're living with a chronic illness can sometimes feel kind of impossible. And you might even be told it is possible by your doctor and or by your peers or friends and family. And I just want you to know that it is possible. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily heal your condition. And, you know, we're cool with that. Like, even getting cool with that is like a big hurdle, right? Like, I was crying to my partner the other day saying, I just kind of wish it wasn't this way, you know? And I do. But also, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. And so it is going to be up to us to start doing what we can to make that better. And if you need a coach, and again, if you can't afford a coach, check out the internet. It's got it all. There's tons of coaches online and motivational speakers and scientists and doctors and naturopaths and experts in wellness that are giving out their information and their wisdom for free. And no, it is not the same as having someone there in person or, you know, in this format. I don't know what this is called. Then I want to say like Visio, but I feel like that's the French word. Okay, so if you know the word, you tell me the word, okay? So yes, obviously having someone in your real life, in your corner, cheering you on and giving you the very unique play-by-play of what it is you need to hear, and or motivating you to tell you what you need to hear. So that like you're the believer in this process, right? And that might involve some manifestation. That might involve some amount of faking it until you make it and embodying the person you want to be in kind of possibly not what feels like such an authentic way at first, because we're evolving into being a different person. Last week you might not have eaten perfectly gluten-free or gluten-free at all. And then this week you do. Yeah, you need to change. And that might not necessarily mean that you have celiac disease. That might mean you have IBS. And maybe your doctor didn't recommend to you that you eliminate gluten from your diet, but maybe you know that that's something that could help you. So maybe you choose to do that. I'm using gluten as an example. The example could also be dairy, onions, garlic, beef, whatever it might be. It might be the elimination of something, and it might be the addition of something, a supplement, or a practice of some kind. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. A coach could help you with that. A coach could be one of your practices that bring wellness into your life. And if you can't afford one, again, go check it out, right? I'm here right now offering this to you. I'm inviting you to benefit from this talk. And you can reach out to me, and it's not going to cost you anything to say hello. And there's no pressure. You know, I'm a very honest person. You're not going to feel any pressure from me. It's just we're going to go at your pace. And just as like a little side note to that, a part of wellness is having an income of some kind. A part of that is going to be to have some financial security and safety. And that doesn't mean that you necessarily have enough money right away to spend on a coach. But if you do have enough money to spend on a coach, maybe that will be money well spent. Because maybe that coach will help you to get up and motivated and out doing the things for yourself to take care of yourself so that you could have more money and financial security and joy and creativity and balanced relationships and the ability to do the home cooking that you would like to do and possibly joining that club that you would like to join, or, you know, relocating to the town that you would like to live in, or fixing your car so that you can drive to work instead of taking the bus. Look, guys, it's a big picture here, and it's whatever. So yeah, having your own personalized coach will help. But if you don't have that, then check this video out, or any other video that you find to be helpful. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a coach. And it feels good to be on this wellness trajectory. It's not perfect, and last week I had a flare and I cursed lots of times my existence. But now I'm back. I'm still here on the journey, and my hair looks so cute like this. I've been trying to grow my hair out, and it's not so easy. When you have a hormonal condition, you just want all your hair to just at least stay on your head and not fall out at a rapid rate. But not only that, but it's getting longer. Anyways, so that's what's going on. And I'm feeling pretty good about it all, but I also know that I still have so long to go forward, and that indeed it will all be forward and it will all be challenging in its own unique way. And also, I know that I like to be challenged. I know that I like to be engaged, and I wouldn't really wish for no engagement and no challenges. But I do wish to go at like a nice pace that feels intentional. Back to my intentional timesheet. I feel like we've almost made a full circle here to this ramble. I kind of gave myself like an hour. I kind of thought like, okay, an hour feels like max, and anything less just feels impossible. So we are wrapping this up. If you are looking to improve your situation and you don't really know where to begin, feel free to reach out. I will happily help you through that. And we can have like a free consultation. And I kind of call it like a discovery call, a discovery to what is really happening for you. And that's free. Like you get to just have one of those. And that might be all you can handle because those are big, right? Just that is big. Just watching this is big. And then like whatever you do next after watching such a video is big. And if then you reached out to me or to anyone for that matter that you thought could help you with your situation, and that might even be reaching out to yourself and having a little bit of time to reflect on what will help you out of this possibly dark situation, then we're on to something. Like do whatever that was. I forget my exact train of thought there, but do that. Like do whatever it is that you need to do at the pace that you could possibly do it at so that you can get out of that dark situation that you're in. I think that's it. Yeah, any questions, any comments, please reach out. If you do it, someone else might too. And just that could be helpful to this community of people and chronically ill people. You know, we're all just carrying the load. So, you know, it even if you are not living with a chronic illness, shit is going down. And I cannot help everyone. I need to focus my attention in one place. And as much as I'd just love to help everyone, that's not going to happen. I am helping people with chronic illness or people that feel as though they are possibly dealing with an illness that is not yet diagnosed. But if you're just covered in it, big time, go seek out the right coach for you or the right community for you. Because no one's getting out alive. But the journey can be actually quite pleasant. It really just doesn't have to be this hard. That's it. That's all I have to say. I need to go take a nap now, but instead I actually have two clients after this. So not immediately though. So actually, if I was taking my own advice, it would probably be to take like a 5 or 10 minute nap or a little bit of a rest, maybe a little bit of a walk outside, get some fresh air, and then come back to sit at my desk and go to this to-do list. No, wait a minute. Emily, I feel like I need to edit this video now. Not to-do list. Guys, it's not, and it just slid across the floor. Not a to-do list. So again, if I don't get to all that shit, it's okay. It's an intentional timesheet. How am I intentionally using my time? It is not a to-do list. I am not a machine. I do not have a certain number of tasks that I absolutely have to do today, regardless of how that makes me feel. If it makes me feel anxious to be just going a million miles a minute, maybe some things needs to be taken off of that to-do list, right? Call it what you will, but take the breaks that you need to at any point in your day, in your task, and in your life so that you can enjoy the journey that you are on. Let's take one more sip of water just to remind you to have some water. Have a great day and bye for now.